When automating BDD scenarios, it is a common practice to execute a block of script as a prerequisite before running scenarios, or running a block of code after running scenarios. For example, if you have 100 scenarios and you need to connect and clear values in a database in either all of those 100 scenarios or the majority, you don't want to repeat the same steps in all 100 scenarios. That would be very inefficient. Instead, you can define these repeated steps as hooks, which can be executed before or after a scenario. Typically, hooks are defined for any repetitive tasks. For an example, before running a scenario, you might want to set up test data, clear already existing data in a database, set up browser cookies, log on to an application, navigate to a certain page, or anything else before a test. Or once the scenario has completed, you might want to clear the test data, clear browser cookies, log out from the application, or anything else after the test. You can define hooks to run either before or after all scenarios using the tags before all or after all, or you can conditionally run hooks using tags. All of these are covered in this video. First, we will see how you could run a step before running any scenarios. In no-code BDD, you don't need to write any code, and through the click of a button, you can create hooks. In this example, we will see how a database value is set up before running any scenario and how it is cleared after running the scenario. To add hooks, click on the Hooks menu and click on Add Hooks as shown here. Provide a description and select a hooks method. In this case, since we are going to run this hook for every scenario, select before all and select the order. The order defines when the hook should run. For an example, if two before all hooks are defined with order 1 and 2, the one that is defined with order 1 will run first, then the hook with order 2. Once the hooks are defined, provide the automation steps. For this hook, we'll be setting up the user detail in the database. For that, select SQL, click on Run SQL Query, then provide the database connection, and provide the Insert SQL with relevant information. Once the before all hook is defined, then define the after all hook, just like the before hook. The steps to define and automate after all hooks is exactly the same as before all, except you'll select the hook method as after all. The rest of the steps are exactly the same. When you select after all, then the hook will run after every scenario. This hook will clear the test data that we added in the before hook. Enter the delete SQL statement to clear the data. Once the hooks are defined, we'll define two scenarios, login and search by usernames. Both scenarios require the user to be available in the database. Hence we define the test data setup in the before all hooks. Once the scenarios are written, automating it using no-code BDD is extremely simple and will take just a couple of minutes as shown in the video. All you have to do is provide some information and no-code BDD will take care of the automation. Once the automation is done, when you go to the Run page, you will see the hooks that we added included for each scenario. Let's run the scenarios, and the defined hooks and steps will be executed. You can also see the results in reports, as shown here. As you can see, defining and automating hooks takes just a few minutes using no-code BDD. Hooks are quite powerful and help you to avoid repeated steps that are common across scenarios. Hooks should only be used for common steps and the steps which don't add any business values. In this example, adding test data and clearing databases, no value has been added to the business, and the steps are common for all scenarios we executed, hence why they are defined in hooks. Using no-code BDD, you can accelerate your BDD rollout. You can download a free version by going to www.nocodebdd.com/download.